Chapter 1. The Science Fair Scramble. The annual high school science fair at Riverton Bend was a kaleidoscope of innovation and youthful enthusiasm. The school gymnasium, transformed into a buzzing hub of scientific exploration, was adorned with colorful banners and the hum of excited chatter. Rows of tables lined the room, each showcasing a student's labor of love, from miniature eco-friendly engines to homemade telescopes. Amidst this vibrant chaos, Henry Hawks Smart and his best friend, Leo Baxter, meandered through the exhibits. Henry's eyes, sharp and discerning, scanned each project with an investigator's curiosity. He adjusted his multi-pocketed jacket, a habitual gesture, when his mind was deep in thought. "Look at this one, Henry," Leo exclaimed, his red curls bouncing as he pointed towards a table with a mini robot performing delicate maneuvers. "It's like it has a mind of its own." Henry peered over the crowd, his autumn chestnut hair almost blending with the warm hues of the gymnasium. "Impressive," he admitted. "The programming must be complex. It's not just about the mechanics." Exploration was a dance through a maze of ingenuity. Each table presented a new world. A group of students demonstrating a homemade water filtration system, a solitary figure carefully adjusting a model solar system, and a duo controlling a drone with a homemade remote. "Science fairs always amaze me," Henry remarked, his voice a mix of admiration and wonder. "The ideas here, they're the future, Leo." Leo nodded, his infectious smile never fading. "Yeah, and imagine if one of these inventions could help us in our detective work. A clue-gathering drone, or a lie detector." Their laughter mingled with the surrounding excitement, but it was soon overshadowed by a sudden commotion nearby. A cluster of students and teachers had gathered around a table, their expressions a mix of confusion and concern. Curious, Henry nudged Leo. "Let's see what's going on over there. You know how I feel about unsolved mysteries." He approached the crowd. The source of the disturbance became clear. A distraught girl, Emily, stood by her empty exhibit space, her eyes brimming with tears. "My robot! It's gone!" she stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. Henry and Leo exchanged a glance, an unspoken agreement passing between them. This was more than a missing project. It was a mystery calling out to them. As Henry and Leo made their way through the crowd towards Emily's exhibit, they could feel the shift in the atmosphere. The excitement and buzz of the fair seemed to dim around Emily's table, replaced by a palpable tension. Emily, a bright-eyed girl with her hair tied back in a practical ponytail, stood wringing her hands in front of her empty display. Her project board, adorned with intricate diagrams and explanations, now loomed over an empty space where her robot should have been. "Don't understand," Emily was saying to a sympathetic teacher. "I just stepped away for a minute, and when I came back, it was gone." Henry observed her distress with a furrowed brow, while Leo leaned in closer, his natural empathy shining through. "Hey, Emily, we couldn't help but overhear. Is there anything we can do?" Leo asked gently. Emily looked up, her frustration giving way to a glimmer of hope. "Oh, Leo, Henry, it's my robot. I've been working on it for months. It's programmed to assist with environmental cleanup, and it was right here." She gestured to the empty space, her voice wavering. Henry stepped forward, his detective instincts kicking in. "Can you tell us anything about it? Specific features or programming that might help us identify it?" "It's about the size of a toaster, silver with green trim. I programmed it to respond to voice commands, and it can navigate simple obstacles," Emily explained, her eyes scanning the room as if the robot might magically reappear. Mentally cataloguing the details. "Okay, Emily, we'll take a look around. Maybe it's a prank, or it got moved by mistake." Leo patted Emily's shoulder reassuringly. "Don't worry, we're on the case. Hawk here has a knack for finding things that don't want to be found." Emily managed a small smile, her gratitude evident. "Thank you, both of you. I'll be right here, if you find anything." As they stepped away, Henry pulled out a small notebook and jotted down a few notes. "First things first, we should check the immediate area. If it was taken as a prank, it might not be far." Leo nodded in agreement, his eyes already scanning the room. "Let's split up, cover more ground. I'll check the back exits and around the cafeteria. You take the gym and the main entrance." "Back here in 10, Henry said, already moving towards the gym, His mind was racing with possibilities, each more intriguing than the last. The two friends parted ways, each determined to unravel the mystery of the missing robot. As they disappeared into the crowd, their shared resolve was clear. They would find Emily's robot or uncover the reason behind its strange disappearance. After scouring the immediate vicinity with no sign of the robot, Henry and Leo reconvened at Emily's exhibit. The fair continued around them, a stark contrast to the trio's growing concern. "Any luck?" Emily asked, her eyes searching theirs for a hint of good news. "Nothing yet," Leo replied, shaking his head. "But don't lose hope. We're just getting started." His notebook in hand, turned to Emily. "Let's go over everything once more. The more details we have, the better." Emily nodded, taking a deep breath. "Well, like I said, it's silver with green trim. It has a series of sensors for environmental data collection and a small compartment for sample collection. The robot can be controlled via a remote, but it's also programmed to operate autonomously within a predefined area." Henry scribbled in his notebook. "Do you have the remote with you? And can you define its autonomous range?" "Yes, the remote is here," Emily said, pulling a small device from her pocket. "And its range. It shouldn't go beyond 30 meters from the control point." Leo interjected. "And where were you when you last saw it?" "There, by the refreshment stand," Emily pointed. "I was gone for maybe 5 minutes." Henry's eyes narrowed thoughtfully. "That's crucial. It means the robot couldn't have gone far on its own. Either someone interfered with it, or it malfunctioned." Leo looked around the bustling gymnasium. "We should check if anyone saw anything unusual around that time. Maybe another student, or a teacher." "Good idea," Henry agreed. "Emily, do you have any rivals or anyone who might want to sabotage your project?" Emily shook her head, her expression troubled. "I don't think so. Everyone's been really supportive." They spoke. Henry glanced around the area, his keen eyes catching a glimmer of something under a nearby table. He walked over and crouched down, retrieving a small metallic object. "Look at this," he said, holding it up. "It was a tiny gear, its surface gleaming under the gymnasium lights." "That looks like it could be from my robot," Emily said, her eyes widening. "Could be a clue," Leo added, peering over Henry's shoulder. Henry examined the gear closely. "It's a start. This might have fallen off during a scuffle or if the robot bumped into something. We should expand our search area." Up, his gaze sweeping over the crowd. "Let's split up again. Leo, you talk to the students and teachers. See if anyone noticed anything strange. Emily, could you stay here and keep an eye out, just in case it comes back or someone returns it?" "And I'll check the surrounding hallways and classrooms," Henry concluded. "If the robot was taken, the person might have tried to hide it somewhere close." With a plan in action, the three set off on their respective tasks. Henry, with a determined stride, Leo, engaging and charismatic as he approached fellow students, and Emily, staying put but vigilant, all shared the same unspoken goal, to find the missing robot and solve the mystery at hand. Chapter 2. Tracing the Tech. In a quiet corner of the bustling gymnasium, Henry, Leo, and Emily huddled around Emily's laptop. The screen displayed lines of complex code, the digital blueprint of the missing robot. "Okay, let's see what we've got here," Henry murmured, his fingers deftly navigating through the code. Emily watched anxiously over his shoulder, while Leo leaned against a table, his eyes darting between Henry and the surrounding fair. Henry's brow furrowed as he analyzed the programming. "This code? It's pretty sophisticated, Emily. Did you write all of this?" Emily nodded, a mix of pride and worry in her voice. "Yes, it's been my project for the past year. I programmed it to follow specific environmental patterns and collect data." Leo whistled softly. "Impressive, but can you track where it went?" "That's what I'm trying to figure out," Henry said, his focus unwavering. "If the robot was following its last programmed route, it should give us an idea of where it could be now." He bit her lip, peering at the screen. "I set it to follow a path around the school for the demonstration. It's programmed to avoid obstacles and return to the starting point." Henry's eyes lit up as he clicked on a section of the code. "Here! This looks like the route programming. See, it outlines a specific path around the school grounds." Leo leaned in closer. So, if it followed that path, it might still be on it, or at least it could give us a clue about where it went off track, Henry concluded. He turned the laptop towards them, showing a mapped route on the screen. We should follow this path. It's our best shot at finding the robot. Emily's expression brightened with a glimmer of hope. Then let's do it. I can guide you through the route. Rio quickly gathered their things, Emily clutching her laptop close. As they left the gymnasium, the noise of the fair faded into the background, replaced by a shared sense of purpose. Henry led the way, his detective instincts fully engaged. We'll need to keep our eyes peeled for any sign of the robot or anything out of the ordinary. Leo nodded, his gaze sweeping the surroundings. Got it! Eagle eyes on! They began to trace the robot's programmed path, moving through the school's hallways and then out onto the grounds. The route wound its way around the school building, through a small building, through a small garden, and past a series of outdoor classrooms. As they walked, Emily explained each segment of the route. I programmed it to stop here for a soil sample. She pointed to a patch of garden, and over there by the benches for air quality readings. She examined each stop carefully, looking for signs of disturbance or any clues that the robot might have left behind. It's like a high-tech treasure hunt, Leo remarked, trying to lighten the mood. Henry smiled briefly, but his focus remained sharp. Exactly! And every treasure hunt has its prize at the end. Let's keep going. We're on the right track. With each step, they delved deeper into the mystery, their determination fueled by the hope of recovering Emily's robot. The path they followed was not just a set of coordinates. It was a trail leading them closer to the heart of the puzzle. Henry, Leo, and Emily moved briskly through the corridors of Riverton Bend High School, their eyes and ears alert. In Henry's hand was a makeshift tracking device, cobbled together from a school science kit and Emily's programming expertise. Pick up the robot's signal if we're close enough, Henry explained, his gaze fixed on the blinking lights of the device. Keep your eyes open for any unusual activity or, well, a rogue robot. Leo chuckled as they turned a corner. I never thought I'd be on a robot hunt in school. This is better than any video game. The tracking device led them on a winding path, beeping intermittently as they moved through the school. They checked classrooms, peeked into storage closets, and even ventured into the seldom-used basement. As they entered the gymnasium, the device began to beep more rapidly. We must be getting closer, Emily said, a note of excitement in her voice. Or it's picking up other electronic devices, Henry cautioned, but his eyes were alight with anticipation. Amidst a maze of sports equipment, the beeping suddenly intensified. They rummaged through stacks of mats and boxes of basketballs, but the robot was nowhere to be seen. Maybe it's in the rafters, Leo suggested, craning his neck upwards. Henry shook his head. Unlikely. The robot isn't designed for climbing. His words were cut off by a sudden clatter from the other side of the gym. They raced over to find a tipped-over bucket and a mop lying askew, but no robot. This thing's playing hide-and-seek with us, Leo grumbled, scratching his head. Continued their search, moving through the music room where a choir practice was in full swing. The tracking device beeped wildly, causing a few curious glances. Leo couldn't resist and started humming along with the choir, earning a laugh from Emily and a playful eye roll from Henry. Focus, Leo, Henry said, though a smile tugged at his lips. Their search took them outside to the school's courtyard, where students lounged on benches, enjoying the afternoon sun. Here, the beeping slowed down again. Emily sighed, her shoulders slumping slightly. Are we sure this is working? Henry reassured her. It's working, but the signal could be weak. The robot might be shielded by something or... Wait! Stopped abruptly, noticing a small, out-of-place pile of leaves near a bush. Cautiously, he approached and gently moved the leaves aside with his foot. Beneath the leaves, they found a small, broken piece of plastic that matched the robot's exterior. This is part of your robot, Henry said, holding it up for Emily to see. Her eyes widened. That means we're close. Maybe it's hiding or got stuck somewhere around here. Revitalized by the discovery, they renewed their search with vigor, the tracking device, leading them further into the school grounds. Each beep, each clue, brought them closer to unraveling the mystery of the runaway robot. The device's signal grew stronger as Henry, Leo, and Emily approached an old, rarely used part of the school. The walls here were lined with faded posters from past school events, and the air carried a musty scent of forgotten history. "This part of the school always gives me the creeps," Leo whispered, peering down the dimly lit hallway. Emily clutched her laptop closer. "The signal's getting stronger. We must be close." They arrived at a door marked Storages, its paint peeling and handle coated in dust. Henry tried the handle. It creaked open with a groan, revealing a room cluttered with old furniture, boxes of outdated textbooks, and broken school equipment. As they stepped inside, the tracking device beeped rapidly. "We're right on top of the signal," Henry announced, scanning the room, searching through the clutter. The room was a labyrinth of the past, each corner holding relics from different eras of the school's history. "Look at this!" Leo called out, holding up a robotic arm that was clearly not part of Emily's creation. It was bulkier and had a different design. Emily hurried over. "That's not mine, but it's definitely robotic. What is it doing here?" The trio delved deeper into the storage room, uncovering more robotic parts. A torso here, a set of wheels there. None of them matched Emily's robot, but it was clear they were part of some other project. "This is bizarre," Henry said, his mind racing. "It's like someone's been building their own robots here." "Hide them in this old storage room," Emily wondered aloud. Leo picked up a tattered notebook from among the debris. "Maybe this has some answers." He flipped through the pages, which were filled with sketches and notes on robotics. Henry examined a half-assembled robot. "These designs, they're advanced, way beyond what we do in our school robotics club. Someone here has serious skills." Emily's eyes widened in realization. "Could they have taken my robot to use its parts for these?" "It's possible," Henry mused. "But why not just ask for help or collaborate? Why steal?" Mystery had deepened, evolving from a simple case of a missing robot to the discovery of a secret robotics workshop. The clues they had gathered painted a picture of a hidden talent lurking in the shadows of Riverton Bend. "We need to figure out who's been working here," Leo said, closing the notebook. "And how this ties in with your missing robot, Emily." Henry nodded, his detective instincts fully ignited. "There's a story here, and we're going to uncover it. Let's take some of these notes and see if we can connect the dots." They left the storage room, the door closing with a final echo behind them. The pieces of the puzzle were slowly coming together, but the picture was still unclear. Who was the mysterious robot builder, and what did they want from Emily's robot? The answers lay somewhere in the shadows of Riverton Bend High, waiting to be uncovered. Chapter 3. Secrets of the Workshop. In the old storage room, the air was thick with dust, and the mystery of the hidden robotics parts. Henry, Leo, and Emily sifted through the clutter, each piece a potential clue to their growing puzzle. Leo, ever the curious one, was rummaging through a pile of old sporting equipment when he leaned against the wall, causing a loud click. Suddenly, a section of the wall swung open, revealing a hidden room bathed in the soft glow of computer screen. "Wah!" Leo exclaimed, stepping back in surprise. Emily gasped, her eyes wide with astonishment. "This incredible!" Henry cautiously led the way into the secret room. It was a stark contrast to the dusty storage area. This room was organized and equipped with state-of-the-art technology. Workbenches were laden with robotic components, tools, and several computer monitors displaying complex code and design. "No amateur setup," Henry observed, scanning the room. "Someone's been working on some advanced robotics here." Leo whistled softly, picking up a sleek, metallic limb. "This stuff is way beyond what we've seen in our robotics club. I mean, look at the articulation on this." Emily approached a desk with several blueprints spread out. "These designs, they're sophisticated and efficient, but who at our school could do this?" As they delved deeper into the room, they found a whiteboard filled with mathematical equations and project timelines. Among the notes, there was a mention of Project ART, but no further explanation. Henry pointed to the whiteboard. "Project ART. Any idea what that could stand for?" He shook her head. "No, but this person has been planning something big. Look at these timelines and objectives." Their attention was drawn to a corner of the room where a partial robot stood on a workbench, its design similar to Emily's but more advanced. It was clear that whoever was using this workshop had been experimenting and improving upon existing design. "This is like something out of a movie," Leo said, his eyes taking in every detail. "A secret workshop, advanced robotics, all hidden right under our noses." Henry examined the partial robot, his mind piecing together the clues. This person could be a genius, but why hide? Why work in secret? Emily pondered the question. Maybe they're shy, or maybe they have reasons for keeping their work private. They explored the room further. They found a digital logbook on one of the computers. It was protected by a password, adding to the mystery. "We need to find out who's behind this," Henry said, determination in his voice. "This workshop could hold the key to finding your robot, Emily. And there might be more to this story than we realize." The discovery of the secret workshop opened a new chapter in their investigation. It was a breakthrough, but it also deepened the mystery, hinting at secrets and talents hidden within the walls of Riverton Bend High. The answers they sought were now tantalizingly close, yet still just out of reach. While Henry, Leo, and Emily were examining the contents of the secret workshop, a soft noise at the door caused them to freeze. Slowly, the door creaked open, and a figure stepped in, momentarily startled to find them there. It was Alex, a quiet and unassuming student from their robotics class, known more for his shyness than his conversation. "Alex!" Emily said, her voice a mix of surprise and confusion. "What are you doing here?" His eyes darted around the room, his usual reticence replaced by a palpable nervousness. I use this place to work on my projects. I didn't think anyone would find it." Henry stepped forward, his tone firm but not accusing. "Alex, we found parts of a robot in here that look a lot like Emily's. Do you know anything about her missing robot?" Alex's shoulders slumped, and he let out a sigh. "Yes, I took it, but I didn't mean any harm. I just wanted to improve it." Emily's eyebrows furrowed. "Improve it? Why didn't you just ask me?" "I was too scared to ask," Alex admitted, looking down at his feet. "I've always admired your work, Emily. I thought I could add some features to your robot and surprise you." Who had been observing quietly chimed in. "But dude, you can't just take someone's project. That's not cool, even if you wanted to help." Alex nodded, his expression remorseful. "I realize that now. I just got carried away. I've been working here secretly, trying to push the boundaries of what we learn in class." Henry, analyzing the situation, asked, "Where is Emily's robot now, Alex? Is it here?" "It's over there." Alex pointed to a covered object on a workbench. "I was just about to bring it back when you all came in." As Alex led them to the covered object on the workbench, the air was thick with anticipation. Emily, Henry, and Leo watched intently as Alex reached out to unveil the robot. However, when he pulled back the cover, the workbench was empty. "It was right here!" Alex exclaimed, his confusion genuine. "I finished working on it just before you all arrived. It should be here." Emily stepped forward, her eyes scanning the room. "But it's not here, Alex!" Alex ran a hand through his hair, clearly perplexed. "The modifications I made. I enhanced its AI for autonomous decision-making. It's possible that it chose to leave on its own." Henry's eyes narrowed thoughtfully. "You mean it has the capability to move and make decisions without direct commands?" "Yes," Alex admitted, a hint of pride mingled with his concern. "I wanted to push its limits, to see how independent it could be. But I never imagined it would just take off." He whistled softly. "A robot with a mind of its own. That's next level, but also kind of freaky." Emily looked around the secret workshop, her expression a mix of worry and awe. "If your modifications gave it that much autonomy, it could be anywhere by now." Henry stepped into his detective mode. "We need to find it before it gets into trouble or scares someone. It's advanced technology, but it's unpredictable now." Alex looked at the group, his expression earnest. "I'll help. I know the programming better than anyone. Together we can find it." The unexpected twist in their investigation had taken them from a simple search to a pursuit of an autonomous, AI-driven robot. The quiet, secret workshop that once held answers now echoed with new questions and the urgency of their mission. They regrouped and prepared to leave the workshop. The atmosphere was charged with a new purpose. The Runaway Robot was more than just a missing project. It was a testament to human ingenuity and its unintended consequences. The chase was on, and time was of the essence. In the dim light of the secret workshop, the group huddled around a table strewn with blueprints and electronic components. The revelation of the robot's newfound autonomy had cast a serious tone over the team. Henry, always the pragmatist, turned to Alex. "We need to know exactly what modifications you made. Understanding its capabilities is key to predicting its behavior." Alex nodded, his fingers tracing over a schematic of the robot. "I improved its decision-making algorithms, enhanced its mobility, and added a few environmental sensors. It's designed to adapt to changing conditions now." Emily, leaning in closer, said, "That's impressive, Alex, but it also means it's unpredictable. We have no idea what it might decide to do." Who had been listening intently, chimed in, "We need to think like the robot. If it's designed to adapt and explore, where would it go?" Henry pondered for a moment. "It might seek out environments where it can gather new data. We should check the school's science labs, the botanical gardens, and any areas with distinct environmental features." Alex pulled up a map of the school and its surrounding areas on one of the computers. "I can track its signal to some extent. Between that and predicting its behavior, we might be able to corner it." Emily's gaze was fixed on the map. "Let's split up and cover these areas. We'll stay in touch via our phones. The faster we find it, the less chance it has to cause any trouble." The group quickly organized a plan of action, each member taking on a specific area to search. Henry's analytical mind, Leo's intuitive thinking, Emily's technical knowledge, and Alex's familiarity with the robot's programming created a formidable team. Prepared to leave the workshop, Alex hesitated. "I'm really sorry. I never meant for things to go this far." Henry placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "We know, Alex. But right now, we need to focus on finding your creation. Let's use this as a learning experience and move forward." With a renewed sense of purpose, the team dispersed, each member heading towards their assigned search area. The corridors of Riverton Bend High echoed with their footsteps, a symphony of urgency and determination. Outside, the sun was beginning to set. The hunt for the supercharged robot was not just a race against time, but a test of their collective skills and resolve. In the back of their minds, they each understood the gravity of the situation. A rogue AI was loose, and it was their responsibility to bring it back before it could venture too far into the unpredictable world. Chapter 4. The Robot Rampage. The tranquil afternoon in Riverton Bend was suddenly disrupted by an unexpected visitor. The enhanced robot, with its newfound autonomy, had found its way into the heart of the town, its actions unpredictable and mischievously independent. The local soccer field, a game was in full swing. Cheers and shouts filled the air as the players skillfully maneuvered the ball. Without warning, the robot zipped onto the field, its sensors whirring and lights blinking. Startled, the players skidded to a halt, their game interrupted by this curious intruder. "What in the world?" exclaimed one of the players, as the robot deftly intercepted the ball and began dribbling it with surprising agility. Laughter erupted from the sidelines as the kids found delight in the spectacle. "Go, robot, go!" they cheered, completely enthralled by the robot's antics. Meanwhile, in the heart of Riverton Bend, at Mabel's Diner, the lunch rush was in full swing. Waitresses bustled between tables, balancing trays of burgers and shakes. The peaceful clatter of cutlery and hum of conversation was suddenly interrupted as the robot made its next appearance, whizzing through the open door. It navigated between tables, causing a mild uproar among the patrons. A waitress, caught off guard, let out a yelp as her tray clattered to the floor, sending a shower of fries and milkshakes across the checkered tiles. "That a robot?" a bewildered customer asked, as others laughed or raised their phones to capture the moment. The robot, seemingly satisfied with the chaos it had caused, promptly exited the diner, leaving behind a trail of amused and confused patrons. Back on the streets of Riverton Bend, children followed the robot in a giggling procession, like the Pied Piper leading his band. The robot's lights flashed rhythmically, creating a playful display that captivated the young audience. "I want one of those!" exclaimed a little boy, his eyes wide with wonder. "Where did it come from?" a girl asked, skipping along beside the robot. The robot, oblivious to the stir it was causing, continued on its path, its programming driving it to explore and interact with its environment in ways its creator had never anticipated. Unbeknownst to the amused townsfolk, Henry, Leo, Emily, and Alex were close on its trail, their phones buzzing with updates and sightings from various locals. The chase was not just a mission to retrieve a piece of technology. It had become a town-wide event, with the Runaway Robot unwittingly becoming Riverton Bend's latest sensation. Under the fading light of the evening, Henry, Leo, Emily, and Alex convened in a secluded corner of the town park, a strategic location based on the robot's last known direction. They huddled around a park bench, hastily sketching out a plan on a piece of paper. "We can't just chase it around," Henry stated, his brows knitted in concentration. "It's too unpredictable, and we risk causing more chaos." Emily nodded in agreement. "We need to outsmart it, use its programming and behavior patterns against it." His eyes, fixed on the paper, began to outline his idea. "I've enhanced its decision-making algorithms, but it still follows basic commands. We could set up a series of triggers that guide it into a containment area." Leo, always ready with a creative solution, chimed in. "Like a maze. We lead it somewhere it thinks it's exploring, but actually it's heading straight into our trap." Henry looked thoughtful. "We'll need something to attract its attention and guide it, something it can't resist analyzing." Alex snapped his fingers. "I've programmed it to prioritize environmental data collection. We could use a series of heat and light sources to mimic an interesting environmental phenomenon." Emily quickly sketched a rough, maze-like path on the paper. "We set up our phenomenon here, at the center of the park. We'll need some portable heaters and flashlights." "And borrow those from the school's science lab," Henry suggested. The plan was taking shape. They would set up a series of heaters and flashlights to create a trail for the robot to follow, leading it into a makeshift maze constructed from park benches and sports equipment. At the center, they would place the strong heat and light sources, luring the robot into a confined space where they could safely deactivate it. Leo grinned, his excitement palpable. "This is like setting up a big science experiment. Let's do this!" The team split up to gather the necessary materials. Henry and Leo headed to the school to retrieve heaters and flashlights, while Emily and Alex began arranging the park benches and sports equipment into a strategic pattern. Under the stars, the park transformed into a stage for their clever trap. Flashlights flickered on in a sequence, creating a path of light, while heaters hummed, emitting gentle waves of warmth. Behind bushes, the team waited in anticipation, their eyes fixed on the entrance of their maze. The plan was set. Now it was up to the robot to take the bait. The quiet of the night was suddenly broken by the familiar whir of gears and blinking lights. The robot appeared at the edge of the park, its sensors immediately drawn to the unusual display of heat and light. As it entered the maze, following the trail with curiosity, the team held their breath. Step by step, the robot moved closer to the center, the advanced AI processing the environmental cues laid out for it. Finally, it reached the center of the maze, pausing to analyze the concentrated heat and light. At that moment, Henry signaled, and they sprang into action, quickly moving in to enclose the space with a final row of benches, trapping the robot gently but securely. "We did it!" Emily exclaimed, relief and triumph in her voice. X turned to the robot. "Sorry, buddy, but it's time to go home." The night air in Riverton Bend was charged with excitement as Henry, Leo, Emily, and Alex prepared for the final act of their adventure. They stood at the ready, each poised for action, knowing that the most challenging part of their mission lay ahead. "Okay, team," Henry began, his voice steady and confident. "We've got the robot cornered, but it won't be easy to get it out of here. We need to be smart and quick." Emily, her eyes fixed on the trapped robot, added, "We can't just grab it. It's too unpredictable. We need to guide it back to the school where we can safely shut it down." Leo bounced on his heels, his usual energy bubbling to the surface. "So, it's like herding a robotic sheep, right? How hard can it be?" holding a remote control connected to the robot's programming, said, "I can send it basic commands, but with its enhanced AI, it might not fully cooperate. We'll have to be careful." The plan was simple yet risky. They would open a path in the makeshift maze and use a combination of light and sound to guide the robot out of the park and through the streets of Riverton Bend back to the safety of the school's robotics lab. As they removed the benches, the robot immediately sensed the opening and darted forward. Its movements were quick and erratic, like a startled animal seeking escape. The chase was on. The streets of Riverton Bend became a labyrinthine stage for this unique pursuit. Henry and Leo ran ahead, setting up flashlights to create a guiding path, while Emily and Alex followed closely behind with the robot. "Steady," Emily called out to Alex, who was carefully manipulating the remote to send directional cues to the robot. The robot zigzagged down the streets, its sensors flashing at times, veering off course, only to be gently coaxed back by the guiding light. Bystanders watched in amazement as the group sprinted past, a whirl of energy and determination. "Is that a robot?" someone exclaimed, as another onlooker captured the scene on their phone. As they neared the school, Henry looked back, ensuring the robot was still following. "Almost there. Keep the path clear." Leo, who was arranging the last set of flashlights, shouted, "Final stretch, team! Let's bring this baby home!" School in sight, Alex increased the frequency of the commands, ensuring the robot's cooperation. The robot, its programming, conflicted between the urge to explore and the commands being sent, hesitated momentarily before finally relenting and following the path set before it. They reached the school grounds, panting and exhilarated. The robotics lab door swung open, welcoming the wayward creation back into its birthplace. As Alex guided the robot into the lab and deactivated it, the group collapsed against the workbenches, their breaths heavy but spirits high. "We did it!" Henry gasped, a wide smile spreading across his face. Emily looked at the robot, now silent and still. "It's finally over! What a night!" Oh, ever the Joker added. "Who needs movies when you've got real-life robot chases in Riverton Bend?" Their laughter filled the lab, a perfect ending to an extraordinary adventure. They had not only retrieved the robot, but had also discovered the value of teamwork and the thrill of a challenge well meted. As the night settled over Riverton Bend, the group knew that this was an experience they would never forget. Chapter 5. Resolution and Rewards. In the calm aftermath of the night's exhilarating chase, the robotics lab at Riverton Bend High School was a scene of relief and camaraderie. The robot, now dormant and secured on a workbench, was back in its rightful place. Emily stood beside it, her gaze alternating between the robot and Alex, her expression a blend of gratitude and admiration. "Alex, I can't believe the enhancements you've made," Emily said, her voice tinged with awe as she inspected the robot. "The AI improvements, the mobility enhancements, they're incredible." Looking more relaxed now that the robot was safely returned, replied sheepishly, "I just wanted to make it better. I've always been amazed by your work, Emily, and I thought I could add something to it." Henry and Leo, leaning against a nearby table, watched the exchange with smiles. "Looks like a new partnership in the making," Henry quipped. "Yeah, who knew a runaway robot would lead to a team-up?" Leo added, chuckling. Emily turned to Alex, her earlier frustration completely dissolved. "I think we could make a great team, Alex. Your technical skills are amazing. We should work on a project together, but maybe openly this time." Alex's face lit up at the proposal. "I'd like that. I have a lot of ideas, and I think together we could create something really special," interjected, "and maybe keep it confined to the lab until it's ready for the public." Everyone laughed, including Alex, who nodded in agreement. Definitely no more rogue robots. The moment was a testament to the power of understanding and collaboration. What had started as a misunderstanding had blossomed into an opportunity for growth and partnership. As they discussed potential projects and improvements to the robot, the atmosphere in the lab was electric with creative energy. Ideas flowed freely, and plans began to take shape for future endeavors. Events had not only returned the robot to its home, but had also forged new bonds and opened doors to exciting possibility. In the heart of Riverton Bend High's robotics lab, a new chapter was beginning, one that promised innovation, teamwork, and a deeper appreciation for the talents of every individual involved. The following day, Riverton Bend High School's gymnasium buzzed with a different kind of energy. The science fair, which had been overshadowed by the escapade of the runaway robot, was drawing to a close. Students and teachers gathered for the awards ceremony, the air filled with anticipation and a sense of accomplishment. As the principal took to the podium, a hush fell over the crowd. Before we announce the winners of this year's science fair, we have some special recognitions to make, he began, his eyes scanning the room until they landed on Henry, Leo, and Alex, who stood together amidst their peers. Last night, an extraordinary event took place at our school. Thanks to the efforts of Henry Smart, Leo Baxter, and Alex Jensine, a potentially dangerous situation was averted with intelligence, bravery, and teamwork. Wars erupted in the gymnasium, with students and teachers alike turning to look at the trio, admiration and pride evident in their faces. Henry, who was usually more comfortable in the background, blushed slightly at the attention, while Leo waved at the crowd, his characteristic grin wide and infectious. Alex, still somewhat shy, despite the accolades, nodded in appreciation. The principal continued, "Their actions exemplify the spirit of our school and the true purpose of science, to solve problems, collaborate, and innovate for the betterment of all. We are incredibly proud of them." He then invited them to the stage. As they walked up, murmurs of excitement and congratulatory whispers filled the room. Once on stage, the principal handed each of them a certificate of special recognition. "Your actions have shown the lessons learned in these halls go beyond textbooks and experiments. You've applied your knowledge and skills in real life, and for that you deserve our highest commendation." Usually reserved, took the microphone. "Thank you, everyone. This experience has taught us the importance of teamwork and thinking on our feet. We're glad we could help and that it all turned out well." Leo, ever the charmer, added, "And let's not forget the robot. That little guy sure made things interesting. But hey, it all worked out in the end." Alex, speaking last, said, "I'm grateful for the chance to work with Henry and Leo, and for the support from everyone. I learned a valuable lesson about collaboration and honesty." The crowd cheered, a collective expression of respect and admiration for the young heroes. As the principal moved on to announce the science fair winners, Henry, Leo, and Alex stepped down from the stage, their certificates in hand, their hearts full. The science fair may have been about projects and competition, but the true success lay in the lessons learned and the friendships forged. In the end, it was a celebration of the curious, inventive spirit that thrived within the walls of Riverton Bend High. Evening found the Smart family's cozy living room alive with laughter and lively conversation. A small celebration was underway, honoring the recent adventure and achievements of Henry and Leo. The room was filled with warmth, the walls adorned with family photos, and the shelves lined with books that spoke of a home filled with love for learning and curiosity. Grandpa Joe, a man whose eyes twinkled with wisdom and stories from his days on the police force, held court from his favorite armchair. Henry and Leo sat on the floor, their eyes wide with fascination, hanging on his every word. "And that's how we finally caught the infamous Riverton bandit," Grandpa Joe concluded, his story drawing to an end. Henry, always eager for more, asked Grandpa, "Did you ever get scared during your cases?" Grandpa Joe chuckled softly. "Of course, Henry. But being scared doesn't mean you back down. It means you face your fears with courage and smarts. Just like you and Leo did with that runaway robot." Though grinning from ear to ear, added, "Yeah, and it helps to have a great partner." Mrs. Smart, bustling in from the kitchen with a tray of snacks, smiled at the boys. "I am just glad you're both safe, and I'm proud of how you handled everything." Mr. Smart, joining in with a plate of his famous homemade cookies, said, "You boys showed real ingenuity and responsibility. That's what being a good detective and a good person is all about." Henry's younger sister, Lucy, piped up, "Next time, I want to help too. I can be sneaky." The room erupted in laughter, the family's bond evident in their easy camaraderie. The celebration was more than just for a successful adventure. It was a testament to the values of family, friendship, and the pursuit of knowledge. Evening wore on. Stories were shared, and plans for future adventures were dreamt up. Henry and Leo, inspired by Grandpa Joe's tales and fueled by the encouragement of their families, were already plotting their next foray into the world of sleuthing. The Smart family's home, a haven of love and learning, stood as a testament to the adventures that awaited those who were willing to seek them out. In that cozy living room, with the laughter of loved ones echoing off the walls, Henry and Leo found not just celebration, but inspiration for all the mysteries that lay ahead, waiting to be unraveled by the young detectives of Riverton Bend.